Hello, my name is Becca, and I'm starting this YouTube channel. This is probably like the fifth time I've tried to record a video of talking about myself. It's super awkward. I talk about other topics better, so hang in there. And subscribe so you can see that I talk about other topics better. It's going to be awesome. So, just a little about me. I'm currently in graduate school for clinical mental health. I have finished all of my classes, woo, and I recently lost my graduate internship in my last semester, partly because I struggle with communication due to my ADHD and anxiety and chronic illness. And what else? All the things. Yep, all the things. My family background with lots of fun, high functioning autism and other cool stuff like that. So, those are some of the topics that I will talk about on this YouTube channel. I also have 5 children, and they are all 9 and under. I know I'm so young to have 5 children, and I don't look old enough, and it's crazy. And wow, 5 is a lot. You must have your hands full and be super busy and all the things. And yes, yep. Anyway, 2 of them are adopted, so I didn't give birth to all 5. I mean, I'm not like that powerful there. It's a whole thing. Props to anyone who's given birth to more than 3 children or less, or any at all, because it's a big deal. And props to anyone who has their life figured out and decides they don't want kids, and that's fine too. It's just not what I'm talking about right this second. Anyway, my purpose in starting this channel is to talk about many different topics and hopefully to put some information out there that's helpful for people. I'll talk a lot about mental health related things, about chronic health conditions, I'll talk about parenting, but I'll also talk about just general life stuff that should hopefully be relatable to pretty much everybody. Woohoo! Or at least people who want to learn more about those things I just mentioned, among other things. Anyway, it's really weird trying to introduce this and talk about myself and talk about what I'm trying to do with my channel and blah, 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 blah. But future videos will have a bit more planning, so that's cool. My previous career was education. My undergraduate degree was in special education, and then I taught in a variety of different settings throughout my career in education, or I worked in a variety of settings, I should say. I was an aide in a behavioral unit that was for kids 4th through 6th grade, and they had like pretty serious behavioral struggles. So they were sent to a specialized like classroom that was very structured and set up to help them to learn to control their behaviors better and whatnot. It mostly used a rewards and consequences system, but it was very, very strictly enforced. But the teacher was awesome. She had a great relationship with the kids. Um, so I did that it was my first job in education, actually. So that was an interesting first job. And then I student taught in high school, and I was able to teach transition. So I got to teach kids like kind of what to do after high school and how to make plans and figure out resources and what's out there for them. And then I substitute taught for a bit, and I taught in something called the Performance Learning Center. It's an awesome program because it is specifically geared towards kids who struggle with the general regular education system because they have various challenges, like they have to work to help support their families, or they have kids, or they have anxiety, or like chronic health conditions, or whatever. Just really good kind of understanding that I feel like many of us who go into education kind of struggle with that understanding, because I know for me, I was a very good student, which was a great way to mask my ADHD and other struggles, but I'm good at test taking and writing and like understanding things pretty well, and I pick up math pretty naturally. Um, I'm like rubbish at actually holding down a job or doing anything remotely functional on any kind of consistent basis for, so many reasons. But if I had not gone into the special education field specifically, I don't think I ever would have learned that the way the education system is designed is just really, really, it's just designed for only one type of student, which is a neurotypical student who doesn't struggle with any kind of learning disabilities and who doesn't have mental illness and who doesn't have a family situation that requires them to have a job, or they have like parental support, like the kids that are, the school system is designed for. And there's a lot of judgment if they don't have some of that stuff, by the way, like parental support specifically, for example. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. I'm just talking about my past experiences. So I also actually taught special education for a year and then went into counseling because I have always wanted to help people, and I lean towards more of the mental health and overall health and well-being aspects of life. The counseling field focuses a lot on self-care, but I personally have also learned a ton about mental health related things and trauma and just all kinds of different stuff through experience and through people that I know and through my own research and all the things. I have a lot of mental stuff, mental illness, mental neurological differences, just all the things in my family. I'm the oldest of 7 kids. There's a lot of us. And I also have 3 older half siblings, which I only separate them because we didn't grow up together. We've never like really lived together. I have a pretty good relationship with my half sister, but I just don't like know my older half brothers very well, which is fine. They're, we're in sort of separate sets of siblings. So I kind of distinguish just because I'm a very nuanced and precise thinker. That's me. Having a really hard time keeping my eyes focused on one spot to talk about this because I'm in front of a window and I'm looking out of it and trying to look at like straight ahead of the camera and not look at my face too much. Anyway, yep. So I am starting this channel so I can talk about just a variety of different topics that are related to mental health and ADHD and parenting and school and life and work and our social lives and our overall well-being. I've got a lot of thoughts. Travel. I've got so many different things that I can talk about. So I guess this is kind of a lifestyle channel. Ew, no, I can't call it that. It's like mental health and stuff. I don't know. I've also had chronic illness for the last 6.5 years. I have something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which at least I'm like 99.999% sure it's just really hard to get into the right doctor to diagnose that. But it does mean that I do things like this with my body and like my elbows. You can't see it as well on this side, but like my elbows bent backwards when most people's are just like flat. So that's odd. And I like can touch my thumb to my wrist like so, and I can touch the floor bending over, like with my palms. Anyway, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is underdiagnosed, and it took me about 6 years to get a diagnosis, and I had to basically find it myself through communicating with family members who also have symptoms and research on my own and talking to other people who have it. So it's a really interesting thing. I've also got something called POTS, or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. What? That's ridiculous, right? That's why we call it POTS. But anyway, what it means is when I stand up or sit up or whatever, my little Fitbit here tells me that my heart rate just went from like 80 to 130 or something ridiculous like that. So essentially it makes me like dizzy and tired, and I've got like all kinds of fun issues with that. I also had brain surgery last year. Whoa. So I got a nice little scar like up and down right there, and part of my skull's gone. What? I've got like a patch over the top of my brain. Crazy. Anyway, that was for something called a Chiari malformation, where part of your brain like comes out of your skull and sits on your spinal cord, and this is what you wanted in an introduction video to a new YouTube channel. Welcome. Anyway, I don't remember if I mentioned that I lost my graduate internship for oversharing, but that was part of the reason. It's also because I asked way too many questions about the same topics, because I think I just couldn't figure out the right words to get the information I was actually looking for. Plus my anxiety brain just caused me problems. Bad. Anyway, I'm going to talk about a lot of different topics on this channel. I run an ADHD support group Sundays at 4 p.m. on Zoom. So cool. It's a good group. We don't have many people, but I talk about a lot of good topics, and I'm gonna probably include some of those on this channel, and that'll be cool. So that's me. That's a little about me. Oh, I also am kind of a dork. I've always been into fantasy, and Terry Pratchett, who's a British satirical fantasy novelist, is my favorite author. He died on my birthday. So I feel like morbidly connected to him. I mean, one of my favorite characters in his novels is the character of Death, so that's something, I guess. Anyway, that's a fun little factoid. I also crochet and I restored a dresser, which my kids broke again, but that's neither here nor there. But it was gorgeous and I like distressed it and did all these cool things because ADHD makes you like bounce around between interests like crazy, which is fun. Um, I love Parks and Rec. I'm rewatching it right now. One of my favorite shows of all time is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Love it. It's a kind of positive show about a person who is fits into some stereotypical boxes. The title was a turnoff for me for a while. I didn't watch it because of the name of the show, but it's like a sort of a jab at the concept of the crazy ex-girlfriend because the main character is someone who kind of fits into a lot of those stereotypes, but she's like a really likable character, and the show's about her journey to becoming healthier. But one of the things I really love about the show is that it's a musical comedy show. So there's like two songs every episode. Rachel Bloom is the main actress. She's awesome. The show is awesome. Anyway, this is totally not what this video is about. I have ADHD and I talk about just whatever sometimes. I don't know if you can hear the whispering on this camera. I have no idea. And yeah, I just wanted to tell you some like fun things about me as well as like the details of my life. I also enjoy playing board games with friends and going for walks when I feel well enough physically to do so. And memes. I like humor to laugh at things that trouble me because that's what we millennials do, am I right? Anyway, I look forward to making further videos, and I hope you super enjoy the awkward weirdness of this one because I'm really hoping that my future videos will be less awkward than this because I'm not just going to be like introducing myself and talking about myself a bunch because that's awkward. So awkward. Yep, anyway, this is me. Please click subscribe if you liked anything in this video at all, or if you're curious to figure out where this channel is going, because I'm curious to find out where this channel goes. Come on a journey with me. Woohoo! I will see you all later. Peace. Thanks for watching.